Forms of state governance and their transitions. Introduction. Throughout history, societies have experimented with various forms of governance, reflecting changes in economic structures, ideological paradigms, technological developments, and socio-political needs. From the tribal assemblies of ancient communities to the complex bureaucracies of modern democracies, forms of governance have not only shaped how power is distributed, but also influenced the trajectory of civilizations. This essay explores the primary forms of state governance: monarchy, aristocracy, oligarchy, democracy, theocracy, autocracy, military dictatorship, and technocracy, and examines how they transition into one another, driven by internal dynamics, external pressures, and philosophical reorientations. Major forms of state governance. 1. Monarchy. A monarchy is a form of government where sovereignty is embodied in a single individual, the monarch. Monarchies can be absolute, where the ruler holds unchecked power, or constitutional, where their role is ceremonial and constrained by law. Historical example: absolute monarchy in France under Louis XIV, constitutional monarchy in modern United Kingdom. Monarchies often emerge from tribal or clan-based societies where hereditary leadership is legitimized by custom, religion, or military prowess. 2. Aristocracy. Aristocracy refers to rule by a privileged class deemed superior, often by birth, wealth, or education. Ancient Greece considered aristocracy a virtuous rule by the best, aristoi, distinct from oligarchy. Historical example: the Roman Republic's Senate, feudal nobility in medieval Europe. Aristocracy tends to emerge when a group of elite individuals usurp or inherit the powers of kingship, often institutionalizing their authority in legislative bodies or councils. 3. Oligarchy. An oligarchy is ruled by a small group, usually for their own benefit rather than the common good. While similar to aristocracy in structure, oligarchy is typically more self-interested and economically motivated. Examples: modern kleptocracies, post-Soviet power structures in Russia. Oligarchies often arise in post-revolutionary societies where power vacuum is filled by wealthy elites, business magnates, or political insiders. 4. Democracy. Democracy, rule by the people, exists in two main forms: direct democracy, citizens vote on laws directly, e.g. ancient Athens; representative democracy, citizens elect officials to make decisions, e.g. USA, India. Democracies are based on rule of law, free elections, protection of rights, and institutional checks and balances. 5. Theocracy. In a theocracy, religious leaders govern in the name of a divine authority. Religious law is either the primary or sole legal framework. Examples: ancient Israel, modern Iran. Theocracies often emerge where religious identity is central to the population, and institutional power is concentrated in clergy or spiritual leaders. 6. Autocracy. An autocracy places absolute power in the hands of a single ruler. Unlike monarchy, autocracy does not require hereditary succession. It may arise through conquest, revolution, or coup d'etat. Examples: Stalin's USSR, Kim Dynasty in North Korea. Autocracies rely on centralized control, propaganda, and often suppression of dissent. 7. Military dictatorship. In a military dictatorship, the state is controlled by armed forces. Power is usually seized via a coup and maintained through coercion and martial law. Examples: Pinochet's Chile, Myanmar under military rule. Such regimes often claim to restore order or nationalism but restrict civil liberties and political participation. 8. Technocracy. A technocracy is governance by experts, particularly scientists, economists, and engineers. Policy decisions are based on technical knowledge rather than political ideology. Examples: post-war Reconstruction governments in Europe, some elements of governance in Singapore. While efficient, technocracies are often critiqued for lacking democratic legitimacy. 2. Transitions between governance forms. Forms of governance rarely remain static. History shows a pattern of cyclical or transformative transitions, often caused by economic crises, military defeats, social revolutions, technological change, ideological movements. 1. Monarchy to aristocracy. Monarchies often weaken when kings delegate powers to noble families for military or administrative support. Over time, this can evolve into feudal aristocracy, where lords wield more practical power than the king. Example: transition from Merovingian kings to Carolingian aristocracy. 2. Aristocracy to oligarchy. As aristocracies become more entrenched, they may turn into self-serving oligarchies. This happens when birthright and wealth outweigh merit and virtue. Example, Venetian republics shift from noble council to plutocratic rule. 3. Oligarchy to democracy. Popular resentment against a corrupt oligarchy can lead to democratic revolutions, particularly when combined with urbanization and a rising middle class. Examples, the French Revolution, 18th century, Arab Spring uprisings. Transitions may be peaceful via constitutional reform or violent via revolution. 4. Democracy to autocracy. Democracies can backslide into autocracies under crises like war, economic collapse, or populist upheaval. Leaders may gain emergency powers, weaken checks and balances, and suppress dissent. Examples, Weimar Republic to Nazi Germany, Venezuela under Chavez and Maduro. 5. Autocracy to democracy. Modern autocracies may face collapse due to external pressure, sanctions, military defeat, or internal dissent, mass protests, elite defections. Examples, Eastern Bloc in late 1980s, South Korea and Taiwan's democratization in 1980s, 1990s. These transitions require robust civil society, institutional reform, and political will. 6. Democracy to technocracy. In times of technocratic urgency, economic crises, pandemics, democracies may appoint unelected experts to run key institutions. While temporary, this may increase long-term dependence on technocratic governance. Examples, Italy's emergency technocratic governments, COVID-19 crisis management globally. 7. Theocracy to secular state. Some theocratic regimes evolve into secular states due to modernization, external influence, or internal reform. Examples, Turkey under Ataturk, Nepal's transition from Hindu kingdom to secular republic, yet this transition is often contentious and gradual. 3. Philosophical models and theorists. The understanding of governance transitions has been deeply influenced by political philosophers. 1. Plato in The Republic. Plato outlines a cycle of degeneration. Aristocracy, democracy, oligarchy, democracy, tyranny. He saw democracy as unstable, often leading to demagoguery and tyranny. 2. Aristotle. In politics, Aristotle distinguishes between good and corrupt forms of rule. Monarchy, virtuous king, tyranny, corrupt. Aristocracy, rule of best, oligarchy, wealthy few. Polity, mixed rule, democracy, mob rule. He advocated a mixed constitution as a stable balance. 3. Polybius. Polybius, Hellenistic historian, proposed an anacyclosis model, a cyclical theory of governance evolution. Monarchy, tyranny, aristocracy, oligarchy, democracy, ochlocracy, monarchy again. This model influenced modern thinkers like Machiavelli and Montesquieu. 4. Montesquieu. In The Spirit of Laws, 18th century, Montesquieu argued for separation of powers to preserve liberty and prevent tyranny. Number 5. Hegel and Marx. Hegel viewed history as a dialectical process toward freedom. Marx adopted a similar structure but applied class struggle, feudalism, capitalism, socialism, communism. For Marx, governance reflects the ruling class's interests. Revolution is inevitable when contradictions peak. Modern thinkers. Francis Fukuyama, in The End of History and the Last Man, 1992, claimed liberal democracy had triumphed. Giovanni Sartori emphasized the difference between democracy in form and democracy in practice. Robert Dahl introduced polyarchy, a system of pluralistic governance and multiple power centers. Structural, economic, and cultural drivers of transition. Transitions between governance forms do not occur in a vacuum. Key drivers include 1. Economic structure. Feudalism favored monarchies, aristocracies. Industrial capitalism supported liberal democracies and technocracies. Resource dependency, e.g. oil, often entrenches autocracies. 2. Military and bureaucracy. A strong military may enable dictatorships or military juntas. Similarly, a well-established bureaucracy can stabilize transitions or entrench regimes. 3. Religion and ideology. Religious legitimacy can preserve theocracy or monarchy. Ideological shifts, e.g. nationalism, liberalism, socialism, underpin transitions, especially in modern history. 4. Technology and media. The printing press fueled the Reformation and early democracies. Social media has played a dual role, empowering democratic uprisings and enabling autocratic surveillance. 5. Globalization and external pressures. Colonialism imposed foreign governance structures. Cold War saw proxy regimes shaped by US or Soviet interests. Today, economic sanctions, trade dependencies, and international institutions, UN, IMF, affect regime survival. Contemporary trends and hybrid forms. In the 21st century, few states fit neatly into classical models. Instead, hybrid regimes dominate the global scene. 1. Shroud, illiberal democracies. Elections exist, but power is centralized, media is censored, and opposition is persecuted. Examples: Hungary, Turkey. 2. Electoral autocracies. Elections are held but manipulated. Institutions are hollowed out. Examples: Russia, Venezuela. 3. Democracy with technocratic features. Some democracies increasingly rely on experts and algorithms to manage complexity. Examples: Estonia's e-governance, AI regulation frameworks. Conclusion. Forms of state governance are dynamic, historically contingent, and shaped by multidimensional forces. While democracy is often idealized in modern discourse, history teaches us that governance systems evolve, decline, and sometimes return in new forms. Understanding these transitions requires attention not only to political structures, but to the underlying cultural, economic, and technological drivers that shape societies over time. As the world enters a new age of artificial intelligence, environmental crisis, and globalized interdependence, the question remains open. What new forms of governance will emerge, and will they enhance or constrain human freedom?